Reverse engineering Dark Messiah has been a lot of work, so for this video I thought it'd be fun to show off the test map that I've used to sort of benchmark and check things out. And it is creatively called the DM Co-op Fire Pit Alpha 1. The map is made by Monoxide in the Discord, and he's been pretty helpful with adding things that we've needed. And there's also a second test map, which we'll get to in a second video. So I want to walk through basically the sort of steps that happen here, and you know, just a bit of what their purpose was back then. So you'll immediately notice that when I spawned, I got skill points, and that, if you couldn't guess, was to help me test whether skill points were actually being applied. You know, if there's a big issue where it would crash and all sorts of things like that due to it being attributed to the wrong entity, things like that. And I'm also playing in single player because I want to show you guys the intentional usage of each thing. This map is very bare bones, very basic. It happened towards the beginning of development. You see we have a nice spread of weaponry here. Some of them requiring certain skills, right? The silk sword, long sword, shields, all sorts of things. These are to test that each skill is being applied properly, right? We have our little box here, box spawner. Press E on this little button here, and then get a box. And this was one of the most notorious crashes that had to be dealt with, because when one player picked up a box, another player would see them and instantly crash, and that's needless to say not good. This was later fixed, but it would turn out that it was basically something where the box was trying to be parented to something that obviously didn't exist or wasn't meant to be seen by the client, because there is no third-person animation for holding a box. Once you disabled that, it would appear and float in front of the model. Right? Now we have our little fire pit here, hence the name of the map. We have a beautiful chain that goes from all the way up there to the bottom. And this is the issue that I'm currently dealing with. Because when a player jumps on the chain, right, this is the expected behavior. And in co-op, when one player jumps on, it works, but the second player jumps on, they're instantly teleported to the first player's position. And when that player jumps off, they'll completely crash, because the person that is on that chain last, they are considered unloaded when they're on the chain because of the way the chain is handled. And I'll probably make a separate video explaining sort of the mechanics behind this chain, because a lot of research was done using this thing. And then this is Sparta Pit, you know, and well, the intent is pretty self-explanatory. The point is to die down here. Now, I've got God mode on, so in this case, there's no issues. But the point was to see if respawns work and to see if triggers are still able to be hit. This is because when you would play in multiplayer, you know, you'd jump over on this chain normally, it'd work great, but then when you die, it completely unloads your collisions, and you would just go straight through the chain, which is bad because then you can't hit any collisions. It includes just, you know, going through the map. Even NPCs, they wouldn't be able to damage you because they wouldn't be able to actually hit you. They'd target you, but nothing would happen. Yeah, I mean, this is just a little kind of MTV cribs of our co-op map here. It's a very basic test map. I usually do all my actual like play tests on like the E3 demo map. So one of the first videos that I released was on that E3 map, because it just has everything it needs to. It's a tech demo map that was made to demonstrate all the best features of Dark Messiah, all the new stuff. So that's where that is. I believe that I should be able to actually use the rope bow here. Nope, didn't want to activate that. To create a rope on this wood here, which is the secondary effect, to make sure that these would be spawned properly. Because as you can see, these are two different sort of ropes. So this rope has a little bit more sway to it. It's technically speaking the same sort of entity, but it falls from the same problems as the chain. So the first step was to try and fix this chain, and then we move on to the rope bow. Because these are two very crucial things in the game that need to be done. I call them gameplay blocking features because, you know, there are portions in the campaign where you just need to climb up a rope. Even with the rope bow, there's a reason why they give it to you, right? So these things needed to be fixed, and they haven't been fixed yet, but they will be. And I'm optimistic. You know, I'm taking too much away from this clearly occupied map here. So, you know, thank you everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and chill right now. I opened up a Twitter so I can make some better updates for people. So it's very difficult to make tiny updates and justify, oh yeah, I gotta make a whole video, or I gotta make a blog post on the ModDB, and all sorts of things like that. So I believe that the Twitter should bridge the gap, and that should be a very nice way for people to keep up to date with what I'm doing, because this mod has not been dead. I've been working very hard on it in both the reverse engineering side and all sorts of things. And yeah, when I get to that next video, I will explain that whole rope thing, because that has been the main blocker right now. And yeah, there you go. So, you know, the Twitter link in the description, and if you, I mean, I'll be posting other things too. I do Gary's mod stuff. I do animation stuff, I do Blender stuff, you know, it might be a nice little way to keep up to date with just what I'm doing in the smaller scale. Nothing grandiose, you get to actually see when I sit down and, hey, I'm bored, let me port this animation to a different, you know, model and etc. Yeah, alright, this is the end of this map tour. Next week, I'll give you the second map tour, which is a newly made map by QWERTY. And it's honestly, it's the next step of what needs to be done before this is fully playable. But you can see that every time I've released a dev diary, you can see some remnant of what I have been working on in these maps. And it's actually a really nice way to see sort of the progress. You can see each thing that didn't work, and then they suddenly work, and it's all good. But alright. That's gonna be the end of this video. If you came here from the Twitter, you're already there. If you're not from the Twitter, well, you're from the YouTube, or even from Knockout, you know, check those out. I will try my best again to give those minor updates on Twitter, and I'll see you, I'll see you at the next video, which I hopefully will be back on schedule. We'll see. It's the running broken record for this entire damn thing. But yep, take it easy.